I hope my students would agree. And
Listen, any of those students watching, please comment down below how you feel when Huma ma'am is teaching in the class. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Bata. My name is Sid, and I've got with me today Miss Huma Syed, who is an educationist. She is an environmental manager. She has written several books for the ICSE.
glad to be here. It gives you a very positive energy that people are doing good stuff and trying to make things happy for others also. So it's great to be with you on the interview.
What's your story? Let's listen to your story. How did you start? How did you get into education?
Yeah, so basically it was not a planned one. I had done my graduation in science, and then I did my postgraduate in environmental management from one of the premier institutes, ISWBM from Kolkata. And then it was I had to begin with a family, and there was no work. The first priority became you have to be with the family and your kids. So it really didn't. Actually, I did not go for a job right away. So then I thought that I should do something, and then I thought, let me start doing something on education as my children are growing bigger. And so firstly, I did my pre-primary course from Mumbai. I was there in Mumbai at that time. So I did my pre-primary course, and I started teaching little kids of nursery and pre-primary. And then when we eventually moved to Hyderabad, the school, an ICSE school, I found that environmental application and environmental science is a subject, and then I got into it. So basically that was my journey. I was not a professional teacher, and suddenly I was thrown into it. I don't have any regrets that I couldn't do anything in my career, because this has become my prime career, and I just love it. So gradually, as I started teaching, I also did my B.Ed. So now I'm a trained teacher. There was this new subject which was introduced in the school, environmental application, and there was no book for this subject. So throughout India, there were many teachers who were just taking some notes from here and there, maybe from internet or some books, whatever their sources were, but there was no book for this subject. So when I was given to teach this subject, so I thought that I'll do something concrete for the students, so that everybody, not only my school, but everybody benefits from it. So that is how I started. And believe me or not, at that point of time, I did not have any computer skills. So for my children, for my students, when I started teaching, I started making PPTs and all on trial and error basis. And then when I started typing this book, I started on Microsoft Publisher, and again trial and error and everything. And so all my books have been typed by me, designed by me. So from knowing nothing to coming here, it was a great journey. And so I have done 9 books, and the 10th one is on the way very soon. Like in about a week, my 10th book will be out. So in a career of about 13 years, I have 10 books to my credit, and I feel really happy. And it was just a learning experience throughout. For the students, I did it, and it has just made me very satisfied, and I'm blessed with.
It's understandable. It's understandable because you're doing something. First of all, I'm pretty sure you had an inclination towards environmental issues in general, because of which you got into it, and now you're able to impart the knowledge that you have to the younger generation, which I think is brilliant. So my next question to you is basically this: how did you get into wanting to do something like environment based? Like, how did you get into that?
So I had a background of botany honors already, and this was the first time in India that this course was launched, environmental management, at ISWBM Kolkata. So I gave my interview and the written test, and I got selected. So I had a background, and my father, I would say, was the person who helped me and motivated me to choose this subject, because this became a niche kind of a subject. Like there are many subjects many teachers teach, but this is something very different, and it became a niche for me, and I agree with it. So there was always a passion from the time I started, and then it has translated and it has gone to my students also. So my first batch, the student of my first batch, took up environmental science, environmental studies, and he went up to Canada to pursue the course, and he's doing something in the field. So I've been able to, you can say, I've been able to help other people also, or motivate other people also take up this cause, and to the level that they want to be a professional and pursue this as a career also.
Yeah, that's very important, because I think the whole point of getting into something like this is to be able to inspire your students in general. I think
Right.
that's very beautiful. Tell me about the books, because I'm very interested to know. I'm pretty sure someone watching somewhere has already probably read one of your books. If you guys have done like ICSE, environmental
Yes.
application management, and all those things, you probably read her book. So
Yes.
tell me about the content. How do you end up gathering the content for something like this?
Yeah. So basically, we have a syllabus given by the council, and you have to go according to the guidelines of the council. And then since I have my educational background in environmental management, it was not very difficult for me. And then there was another subject in ICSE curriculum which was compulsory for the students. That was environmental education. Now, this subject I was teaching for 2 years, and then this subject was removed, and it was no more compulsory. And this subject, environmental science and environmental application, which are elective subjects, so these were there. These are there now. That has been removed again. So again, that helped me in formulating the book. But the best thing about my book is that it's very student friendly. It has been written since I could understand the mindset of the children. So it was very easy for me to formulate a book for the children according to their mindset and according to their capability. And that's the reason for the success of the book. And there's actually no other book for this environmental application. And these books are used all over India. So it's very popular, and almost all the schools who have children opting for this subject are using my book. And students have been doing very well. Many of them are scoring 100 or 100 and in 90s. So it's a very student friendly and in the language of the students. So it's very easy for them. So basically,
yeah, I think that's important, because I have a science background, by the way. I'm an engineer, so I can understand when it gets very technical and overly complicated to explain something that's rather simple and practical. It becomes a little difficult to grasp for students also. So, I'm sure you've come across so many different experiences in class, outside class, trying to write a book. Tell us something, a fun experience you've had in this entire journey or something like that.
There was this incident that I had never taught children of grade 8, 9th and 10th, and when I just started my class 10, my first batch, so I was literally shivering when we are the same students, so don't worry. There's nothing to be nervous. So
Right.
That was my because that time I wasn't trained to be a teacher. I did my B.Ed later, but doing a B.Ed was just it's just a degree. The things that you learn in your day-to-day life, or teaching the students, and every day you're learning from them rather than teaching them. You're learning a lot from them. My classes are not just a textual class or a class where I will only teach the subject. When we are teaching, it is very important to relate to the daily day-to-day incidents. And I also teach biology and chemistry to classes 8, 9, and 10. So the more you relate to the daily life, children are more interested in your subject and what you are teaching. And then there are certain classes where my classes are just not the normal teaching classes. They are just counseling classes to counsel the children sometimes when on their career or on how to be disciplined in life or anything. So I don't mind sometimes when I forgo my class and go on to different topics which are related to the younger generation.
Tell me something about Bookstackers.
Yes. So the thing was that when I started writing the book, so the first book was just kind of a printout for my school and another school which was near, in Hyderabad itself. So it was like a printout, and then the cover page was designed by one of the students. It was spiral bind, and then so then in the next academic year, I thought that no, then I have to get it printed. So I got printed some 300 books because that was the minimum amount of quantity that I should be printing. And I invested some 20,000 at that time. Like in 2012, I wanted some publisher to take up the book, but since this is an elective subject, the quantity would be less. So they were not so keen on taking up the book. So then it became a boon for me. So another year I carried on like that, but then the principals and the schools, they would ask me who is the publisher and all that. So then I thought, why not start my own company? And then I launched this Bookstacker. So this is the whole story. So the whole of the printing to marketing to maintaining the accounts and everything, I do it on my own. So it gives me immense pleasure and it gives me immense motivation that I have done it all on my own from the scratch. And then now it has and also the number of students throughout India after the launching of this book has increased a lot. And then I had sent the book to the council, and the council immediately recognized the book. And then whoever wanted the book, the principals, if they would call the council, ICSE council, they would recommend the book and give my number and all. So now it's big now. So that was the whole journey about it. And God sends you help from places where you never expect. So those things also happen. People somewhere sitting in Allahabad or somewhere sitting in Dehradun, they started Googling for the book and they found, and then they told me, what are you doing now? You haven't even given the book to the council. So it was just, from my side, it was just hit and trial. And then by God's grace, I'm here now.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I want to touch upon a little bit upon education in India, because I've mostly studied outside India, like I told you. So my entire background is very different from what maybe a lot of other people can sort of relate. Tell us about your experience in this current education system, or at least just point out a few areas that you think teachers can sort of improve or adopt certain methodology that you think would be beneficial for students.
The only thing I feel that is lagging over here is that we do not give as much of experiential learning to the students. Here, the students are dependent on us. Whatever we teach, they take, they learn, and they write. So there is a lack of the minds are not so opened as they come out after their 10th or 12th. They are just basically on rote learning and getting marks, and even the parents are focused on that my child should get to high mark and all to get into the next level, into
sure.
IIT and all that. If you go to science subjects schools and all, everyone, most of the schools, they have a grand science fair and all, but what do the students do there? They just make a model, and nowadays you see there's a trend that there are people who are making models very professionally for the students, and those are exhibited. Now there's no point in that, I feel, because children are not learning anything in that. So we have to change the system. Most of the countries abroad, they have the science fair where the children have they do their own research, they do small experiments, they have a hypothesis and everything, and they come out with some real data or some research work of their own. So here the children are not encouraged, and most of the corporate schools, they are just they just want to showcase the best thing. So there should be a working model, but there's no learning in that.
Is there any message, any mantra to success that you want to give to everyone listening? Because right now I feel like everyone listening is sort of your student right now. So please give us your mantra to success now.
Yes. see, everybody should have a goal, right? Now, that's what I tell to my students also, that there should be a goal in life, and then you will move towards it. And you should know what are the things you require to reach that goal, right? So choose a career, or choose a even like see, if, I have been in teaching, but I've been a little different because I've taken something that was a niche, which was not so common. So the thing is that you have to take something different. The field may be the same, but then you have to do something different in that. You have to have a goal in your mind, and then you should chalk out a plan how to move towards the goal. Just having a plan doesn't work. So there has to be a plan to work towards the goal, and you should know what are the steps that you have to take to move towards your goal. That is very important. So success doesn't come like that. You have to really plan it, and there can be people who are lucky with that. But then you need to be focused on your goals, and you have to just work towards it. You may have to sacrifice a few things when you have to move towards your goal, but then ultimately it pays a lot, and it gives you a lot of satisfaction when you're there. So that's the thing that I would like to tell to my students, as well as all the people who would listen to this.
That's lovely. That's lovely. So, guys, you heard her, right? Have a goal, work towards it. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming on and doing this. You're very kind to have, graced us with this. Guys,
thank you so much for having me. I'm also excited about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Guys, hit, like, share, subscribe, and I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.